Okay, welcome back. And today, I feel like we should talk about the most vile violations throughout JoJo. And when I say violations, I'm not talking about anything like, I'm talking about someone getting get back. I'm talking about random acts of violence. I'm talking about Joro beating the shit out of Chocolata. So to know what's so wrong with this nigga, I have to tell you a little bit of his backstory. As a young boy at 14, he wanted to become a surgeon, and he later did. But while he was young and he was learning, he was taking care of elderly patients. And a lot of people said he was doing fantastic, when in reality, he was feeding them unhygienic food and illegal substances and whispering in their ear, telling them no one's going to come visit them, no one loves them, driving them to commit suicide. And after they commit, he has tapes of this. Diablo actually discovered he had 40 tapes of it. Sorry, 25. But once he became a surgeon, it didn't stop there. No, it got worse. He continued his crimes, but by this time, he was up in the ante. See, you will be in surgery and you will randomly wake up while he's operating on you and he's doing the wrong operation. You could go in there for LASIK eye surgery and get a heart transplant. It's very scary. But really the way he got caught and the way Diablo really recruited him was when he got caught for killing one of his parents, and he was doing things with their body basically after. It was very, very messed up. But that's why he's held with JoJo fans as the most evil character. And from that, Joro gave him the meanest beatdown he gave of every other side villain throughout part 5. A 7-page muta. That panel, reading it for the first time, you're like, oh my god, he keeps going. It's just panels and panels and panels full of it. I think the anime version is close to like a minute or two long. It's long as shit, and you just keep seeing Golden Experience punch the shit out of this nigga, deservedly. And mind you, before he even beat him down, he had shot one of his bullets into his head and turned it into a stag beetle so it could eat through his brain, just so he would be morbidly wounded and he wouldn't be able to react the same anymore. Up next, we have Kira versus Jotaro. Part 4, Sheer Heart Attack, Part 2. It takes place in this episode. I'm just going to start off from this episode. Now, at the start of the episode, you see Kira versus Koichi, and Kira made quick work of Koichi, low-key almost packing him up to the point where he was like, yo, I got a few minutes to kill, literally. And he started just messing with him. Right before Koichi got his wallet and started naming out all his personal information. If you know Kira, you know he hates that shit. So Kira, getting angry, just punched right through him and was about to leave up until someone showed up. The man he sees is Jotaro Kujo. Now mind you, this is after him and Koichi were literally attacked by Kira through sheer heart attack at a clothing store. And from that fight, Jotaro was already almost fatally wounded. So when he showed up, he was very wounded. Back to the violation. Now Jotaro showed up, but at this time, Kira was still mostly talking that shit. Mostly because he was almost completely healthy, as Echoes didn't do much to kill a queen. Then he started saying how Star Platinum's weak and shit, and Star Platinum did not like that. Jotaro throws a punch, knocks Kira down, grabs his wrist, says that's an ugly watch, and punches this nigga up until he's black and blue. The beatdown was bloody. Jotaro beat Kira literally to a sense of unconsciousness, to the point where by the time he had woken up, Josuke, Okuyasu, Koichi, and Jotaro were all up. And Koichi and Jotaro had been healed. Now, on to the next one. This one, it was definitely a complete random act of violence. Not completely random because they did know each other. It is Bruno I can't even say there's a versus. Bruno gets killed by Diablo. Now, I've covered different parts of this interaction in depth on this channel, but I'm really just going to cover the point where Trish gets taken and Bruno goes into Diablo's castle, because that's where shit really goes downhill. Because once Bruno goes in, Diablo starts asking him, what do you want? Why are you doing this? You've known her for like a day. This don't even involve you. Just because I took her hand, don't even worry about that. But Bruno just said, you could never know how I feel, and proceeded to try to sneak around Diablo's castle like he didn't know the ins and out of his own castle, and like his own power wouldn't let him see him coming. He didn't know that, but like still, trying to sneak your boss, there's a reason he's your fucking boss. Now, let me not go too crazy on Bruno, he's still a real one. But Bruno sneaks up on the boss from behind the column, and the boss tells him to leave or die. Now, this is where shit gets wicked, because at this point, when he says leave or die, he really 100% means that shit. And he asks him, why would you betray the gang after a completed mission? You're literally good. But Bruno says Trish never had a father, so he couldn't know how Bruno feels or she feels. Because as y'all know, Bruno, he lost his father when he was young, and he got his get back. But Bruno sends his location to Joro, then he attacks the boss again, but he vanishes. And once he vanishes, it was up. He appears behind Bruno with his stand intact, and one swift chop right to the shoulder blade, cutting almost through him. But he was not done there. No. This wouldn't have made the list if it was just one chop. He then decides for good measure to punch through Bruno Bucciarati like he was a piece of paper. Now, before that last blow, Bruno had zipped up his body to trap King Crimson's hand, and it did work. He trapped one of his hands, but that didn't matter because he had another one. And through sheer will, Bruno lasted as long as he did to grab Trish and get to another part of the column. But once he had got to the upper level of the castle, he was really just done. He laid Trish down and he laid himself down. And that was it. While he was waiting on Joro, he had died, but his soul didn't leave yet. That's why we see him for almost the rest of the part. But if you did enjoy the video, let me know, because I will do a part 2. I do have a few more I'm thinking of, but that would make this video entirely too long. But make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 2K, so please like it up, and until next time, peace.